Entries, I won't go over too many like finishing details because we only have like 45 minutes, but I'm going to go over entries and then I'll kind of walk around and help out with finishing details if you guys ask. So with the half butterfly guard, the reason why I like it, we're going to have a butterfly hook on the inside, where the instep of our foot's going to be on the inside of the side. And I like to kind of hook this on the other side of his leg right here to kind of control, like keep him in the pocket and moving away or coming forward. I like to take my knee and kind of place it like in the middle of his kind of sternum right here. What I like about the half butterfly guard for me in my jiu-jitsu, I feel that it's a little bit more offensive. If I am going against someone that I feel is like smashing me and like compromising my frame, I will switch to a V guard where I feel it's a little bit harder for me to compromise. But for this butterfly guard right here, half butterfly, for the first entry, what we're going to look to do is we're going to look to go for a simple arm drag right here, okay? Again, we're looking to try to create reaction. So for the arm drag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my same side hand, I'm going to grab the wrist, I'm going to come up off my elbow. I'm going to look to go for this arm drag. If he does nothing at all, then obviously it's a nice path to the back, right? But what happens a lot of times is my training partner will look to pull out, he'll step his leg up. Now, a lot of times I will go for the leg and I'll go for a leg entry, but since there's going to be two other leg entries that we're going to go for, we're going to look to do what's called a club sweep. If we went for the leg entry, I would just take this side hand right here, I would come through and I would look to get ashi right here. But like I said, we're going to go over some other leg entries. So what'll happen a lot as he pulls back right here, what I'm going to look to do is use this as a butterfly hook. This hand right here that was on the same side hand is going to look to club his head, and the hand that was going for the arm drag is going to look to club, and then a nice sweep right here. So I got this from I sort of 10th Planet shirt somewhere. I actually got this from the 10th Planet warm-ups, which was inspired by Marcelo Garcia's club sweep right here, okay? So we're looking to, again, in this half butterfly guard right here, I'm coming up, same side, hand is grabbing the wrist, I'm reaching up, I'm going for the arm drag. He does nothing, fantastic. But a lot of times I'll see the reaction where the guys will kind of lift up with their leg. As they start pulling back, the hand that went for the arm drag is going to go to his opposite side elbow, and the same side hand right here is going to go and look to club. So it's pretty quick. Don't bring the leg up, just so I can show the combo. So the combo is this, guys. We're grabbing here, we're going arm drag. As he pulls back, this hand's going to go across the street to the other elbow, and we're going to club. Just like this. Boom, boom. And then he's stepping up with his leg, so I have a nice little butterfly hook that I can look to hit the sweep right here. When we go for a butterfly sweep, guys, I see a lot of people when they first started, they're going to their back. For me, if I go to my back, I feel like I get smashed a lot, so what I like to do is I like to go to my shoulder right here, and I use this foot to extend this leg as much as possible. Alright, so again, I'm in my half butterfly. Right here. Again, I like to hook this leg right here with my foot. Going back. I keep this foot on the inside of his thigh right here. I'm grabbing the same side hand right here, reaching up, going for the arm drag. He steps up the leg. Again, there's a path for the legs, but we're not going to do that right now. He starts pulling back, and we're just going to just right here. All right. Any questions? Nice, easy one to warm up. Give it a shot. 3, 2, 1. Warm up. The way I think about it is it's like a combo, right? So the arm drags are jab, right? Very rarely, if you're going against someone that has like equal skill levels, you very rarely will they knock someone out with a jab, right? So the arm drag is just to create a reaction to hopefully go to that club sweep. So I think about the arm drag as like a jab, and then the club sweep, the clubbing part where the scissor or arms right there is kind of like the right cross, and hopes that we can maybe knock him down, aka sweep, right? So that's that corner. And I'm only going over like 4 entries, obviously, for time, but like, again, I'm always trying to think about using my grips, using my frames, using my movement to create reactions in hopes that I can improve my position in entries, right? So this is just one, again, just a quick recap. You don't have to come up with your leg. I just want to show you the hand movement. Same side, right? He's grabbing, coming here. This hand's going to go across the street, right to the other elbow. So as he comes back, he pulls up, and he's coming there. And it's pretty like, you guys look up, like I think there's a couple videos on Marcelo or videos that kind of warm-ups. It's pretty quick, where you just like close. Even sometimes, like if we're in a scramble and he comes up to his knees, I'll just go like to a quick close just to see if I can get some reaction. And they may stand up with their feet, and then obviously they stand up with their feet. It's a nice entry. Okay. So next we're going to go to this corner now. So another reason why I like the half butterfly is because I'm always keeping him honest with this butterfly hook in terms of going for sweeps or getting leg entries right here. So when I'm in this, again, and this is like a little detail that I like too, guys. If I just keep this foot on the ground, it's like easy for him to like back up, like disengage, right? This is just a little detail right here where I'm like flexing my foot. And I'm not saying like he won't get out at all, but it's just a nice little thing again to keep him from not going away, right? So I'm using this frame right here to keep him from smashing me, because if I use this right there, he's gonna come in, he's gonna start smashing. So I try to aim this in the middle, and I'm using this hook right here to keep him in the top where I want, right? So again, the reason why I like this right here is because I'm always thinking about just creating, either going for a sweep, but in this case, when I go for the leg attack, I'm just trying to lift his knee up just enough to get my leg underneath. So that's what I'm looking for. So as we're moving around, as I'm grip fighting, as I'm pushing, pulling, I'm always looking to see if this knee comes up a little bit so I can go for a leg push. Okay? So when I'm doing this specifically, I like to have my frames, and then I also like to have this underneath his leg. Okay? So this whole time when we're kind of moving around, I'm keeping an eye on my peripheral vision just to see if that knee goes up a little bit. If that knee comes up a little bit at all, I'm just looking to get my bottom leg underneath. Okay? So I would switch from this grip on his opposite side leg to this grip right here, where I'm grabbing the inside of his knee. Okay? Now it's very, very important that we're disciplined with our frames. I see folks that go for this sometimes where they're not framing, they come underneath, and then they're just going to get smashed. Just smashed. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So when I'm here, I like to keep my hand on like the opposite side of his armpit right here, and I keep this frame up. I'm not pushing, it's just keeping you from smashing. Okay, so again, we're moving around, maybe I'm pushing with my knee, I'm pulling, and I'm just looking for that knee to come up a little bit. As soon as it comes up, this bottom leg is going to go underneath. I'm going to pull the knee, I'm going to kind of suck in, and I'm going to triangle my legs. In a perfect world, I have a leg entanglement here. In a perfect world, I'm keeping this frame, and I would love to just kind of bow my knees this way, go this way, and immediately I'm coming to second leg right here for control. Again, we're not going to go over finishing details. I just want to give you the extra control. Unfortunately, Jiu-Jitsu is not always perfect world, so when we get here, I'm not a big fan of inverting underneath and getting smashed, and I don't always have the back to do so. So what I like to do here, if I can't like bow my knees to the other side, as I frame, I come back, and I kind of almost go belly down, but I'm looking to just grab his foot this way. And look how it kind of like torques his knee a little bit and like force the turn. So as soon as I torque the knee, I'm coming up and immediately just getting in a habit to get second leg right here for control. You guys go heel hooks, and you want to go for a finish right away, that's fantastic. But me personally, I just like getting second leg for control, especially because people are so good and sweaty like getting that. Okay, so half butterfly again, keeping this hook right here, keeping this knee in the middle, staying responsible with my frames right here. I like to go kind of like right there, like in the shoulder, I like to get a bicep. I'm going to take the bottom and underneath and hold right there, okay? This whole time where we're moving, I'm moving him around. As soon as that leg comes up, the bottom leg is going to look to come underneath. This hand's going to transfer across the street. I'm coming there, and I'm triangling my legs. In a perfect world, I'm keeping my frames at all times, being responsible with that. In a perfect world, I can bow my legs this way and come up for second leg right away, and I just hold. If he's got a really good base, it's going to be hard to do, right? So I'm underneath, he's lifted up. All I need is his knee up off the ground, just that much, just enough to get my leg underneath. Once I do that, I go across the street, I'm holding, and I suck up, almost like I'm shooting a triangle from guarding, okay? So in this case, if you feel good, you can invert underneath, but I like to frame, keep him away, almost going belly down, and see how like I'm using my knee to kind of keep him away, and I'm using my legs to suck up his leg. See how I'm pulling his leg towards me? And when I grab his foot, I'm not looking to grab his leg, I'm looking to grab his foot, and I'm looking to torque his leg this way, because it's going to help me with the roll. As soon as that happens, I roll over my head, immediately coming up for second leg, and holding. Cool? Any questions? Anyone? Yeah. This way? Just to kind of recap that particular corner that we're going for, that's not always safe because sometimes your back's exposed. So another thing that I like to play a lot of is called the full street. So we won't go over it for the sake of time. The false read, I feel, is provides me a little bit of safety if someone is trying to take my bag. So that's something that you can like definitely look up. There's really good videos online on false read for that specific entry, right? Just to kind of recap the entry a little bit too, I saw a couple folks were having trouble reaching the foot on the one where we're bellying down, right? So again, I reach up, a triangle above the leg, right? I would love to just be able to bow my knees that way to get the entry, but that's hard sometimes, right? So you can also invert underneath if you want, but for me, I frame, I'll keep moving away, and coming there. So some people are having trouble reaching the leg. That's why when I'm belly down here, my knees are to come to my chest. And see how that like brings his leg a little bit closer to where I'm reaching for his foot and then torquing in there and reaching. Okay? Just want to recap that a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to go for our fourth corner. We have here, we have here. Now we're going to go for this leg right here, another extra. Okay? So, again, to recap, this is just me. I like to hook this right here, and I like to hook this right here. And guys, really, really important, like, that we're always very conscious of where our frames are, right? And sort of a couple of people, like, the arms are just hanging out right here, you should come in and smash. My goal when I'm passing is I'm always looking to get chest-to-chest connection, right? So just make sure we're always being very responsible and being conscious of where our frames are when we're training or even when we're rolling, okay? So now I'm going to come underneath right here. I have this, right? Maybe I can't create a situation where your knee comes up and all over. Okay, so I reach underneath here. I'm going to take this top hand right here, and I'm going to gable grip. But I'm still making sure that I'm conscious of where this elbow is to create a little bit of a frame. Obviously, it's not as strong as this frame right here, but I still have frame. I also see how my knee and my elbow are together. A principle that helps me a ton with guard retention is just always keeping knee-elbow connection. So again, when I'm going with for these entries, I'm always trying not to forget to keep the knee-elbow connection. Okay? So my knee and elbow together, so it's very hard for me to smash. I'm going to gable grip right here. What I'm going to look to do is I'm going to use the gable grip to pull his leg in, and this bottom elbow is going to flare. Okay? So once I flare with this elbow right here, that's going to open up his leg. Okay? So I'm going to keep using that flare right there, and I'm going to start coming underneath, and I'm going to look to come on top, and we have a nice quick leg entry right here. He may roll if he looks normal. I'm just going to come underneath, and I'm going to be in this nice ashi position. I like outside ashi a lot, so we can come here, just making sure we be responsible with our frames. But again, we're not going to go over too many finishing details. It's probably short on time now, right? So we got right to ashi right here. Okay? How's time, by the way?
9:43.
So I'm underneath right here. Something I'll also do, just again, like I'm really, really big on trying to create reaction. Sometimes I'll just like pull on this foot right here. The foot's kind of hanging, and I'll like put my knee into his belly and kind of just get that same torque that we did on the last one, and then I can get open right here. That's a little harder to do, but it's something to do to create a reaction. Okay. So again, responsible for frame. See, I have knee elbow connection right here, inside bicep, shoulder, and I'm not like pushing with this. Okay. Just a nice frame right here. Keeping him from smashing me. I'm going to take this hand that's on the bicep and then come underneath. Okay? I make a gable grip, making sure I maintain that knee elbow connection. Okay? Now, as I pull the gable grip in, I'm flaring my elbow like this. Sure, get that leg out. So I pull in, I flare the elbow, and his leg starts coming up. This bottom leg is going to come up, and I'm looking to put my foot on the hip, and I'm looking to marry the inside of my knee and my ankle right here, and then I can go just for a nice action. Right here. Again, we won't go over finishing details. Alright, if he rolls, which happens a lot, I come underneath. I'm in a nice ashi. If you guys have leg locks, maybe come out the outside ashi. I like that one. This way. We'll go to the next one. So again, a couple of key details, guys. I see a lot of people when they go for this, they get so tight when they attack, and you don't maintain that knee elbow connection. Right? So I know it gets tough sometimes, like when I roll, it's not obviously sometimes I'm tired, sometimes on a skill level, my opponent, things like that, but when my jiu-jitsu is at its best, I'm going through a checklist in my head. I'm making sure I'm trying to check off all the things on the checklist, because if you're going against someone high level over Brian, and for a second I forget about the elbow connection, you come and smash, and it's not going to be fun, right? So as exciting as it is to get these entries and get these subs and stuff like that, you got to make sure that we're protecting the principles. And in this case, it's going to be keeping that knee elbow connection. Okay, so when I get this gable grip right here, I'm pulling in, I'm flaring, right? And I'm still like, he can't come into me. See how this knee's here? It's going to be tough, right? So this bottom leg, not the half butterfly leg, the bottom leg is going to come over the top and is gonna come here. When I come here, it's just like a standard kind of like single leg X. I like to try to make sure my knee is on my inside of my knee is on my ankle right here. I saw a couple people that were kind of hanging out here, maybe come up for a sweep. But again, my game's creating a reaction, so I'm gonna look to, instead of keeping this underhook right here, I'm gonna look to go for a heel hook right here. And then he's gonna decide what's next. If he stays and does nothing, great, I go for heel hook. If not, I can roll over. And again, I can stay in this ashi, but for me personally, I like to finish with the outside ashi while being very responsible with my frames. I just feel that kind of, with ashi, I feel like, you can say that, okay. With ashi and I have a heel hook, I feel like his knee has like a lot of like flexibility. When I go for leg locks, I think about using my legs to try to like make his leg in like a rubber band, where I'm like trying to extend his leg. So when I come out from this outside ashi, I feel like a cross, and like, look, it keeps his knee in place, and it's kind of like keeps it like stretching out the rubber band. Again, I don't want to go into too much. Finish the just a little thing right there. Okay. So with that specific entry right there, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to make his leg light, right? So if he postures up, his leg's gonna be lighter. It's gonna be a little bit easier to get underneath him, right? So I always go for this to create a reaction, which is gonna hopefully make him come in with some nasty like shoulder pressure, because he doesn't want to be like, he doesn't want to posture up and be like, he wants to come into me. And like 9 times out of 10, when I first go for this, a lot of people will get really heavy, and they're going to give me what's called a shoulder crunch, which is my favorite sweep of all time. I do it a little bit different. I know like when Gordon shows it, he goes a little bit lower on the arm. I like to get really high on the shoulder crunch, almost by his neck. I've got this specific like grip. Eddie Cummings showed it, and I just feel it's like a little bit more control. I don't get the arm like finish subtle a lot, but I use it more to sweep. Whereas I feel like maybe like when Gordon shows it, obviously he's the best. I think he's the best. He'll get a sweep, but he'll also get some arm attacks from it. So I have my head butterfly again. I'm always being responsible with my frames, keeping that knee elbow connection. I come underneath, and this time look, he's coming in. He wants to smash. Right? Because if he postures up, like posture up, his leg is so light I can come underneath. So like a lot of times guys will just want to come in and they'll do that. When they do that, I'm looking to get the watch part of my hand where a watch would be right next to his neck. Again, a lot of people show it like maybe down low. Me personally, I feel, especially no gi, get sweaty for control. For my Jitsu, I feel like it's best here, okay? So I like, as I come in, he's looking to smash right here. I put my watch right next to his neck. This hand's gonna let go. And I'm coming underneath and I'm gable gripping right here, okay? And when I do this, guys, I'm looking to gable grip and I'm pushing, pulling like everything. And I don't do Muay Thai, I don't think like a Muay Thai punches like this, right? Yeah, so like I'm looking to pull everything in like super tight, okay? So he comes underneath, he comes there. Again, I'm keeping that right there, coming underneath, and I'm pulling. Now, since I have this shoulder crunch right here and I have this elbow as a frame, I can release my knee and I don't need that knee frame anymore because I have this elbow. And again, guys, I'm pulling here. I'm almost like pulling this gable grip to my chin and keeping it super tight right here. He should feel it already in his shoulder, okay? So when this happens, I take this bottom leg out, I come in here, and I look to extend, okay? Once I have this position, he's usually pretty so uncomfortable to where I can sweep either way. Again, my knee is creating reaction, so I'll see what his base looks like. Okay, so I'm here, I pull nice and tight. I'm not finishing my butterfly sweep on my back to where I can smash. I look to go to my elbow, and then I can come to the knee. And whatever presents itself, whether it's side control or the mount, that's all I'm doing. Okay, so again, this right here. When I get the shoulder crunch, I'm like holding on the whole way. I'm thinking about like, hopefully the shoulder crunch is good enough that I can feel pretty uncomfortable the whole time. So I'm trying to like hold on to it all the time. So don't let up, even when we're like transitioning to different sweeps or movements from that particular shoulder crunch. So again, to recap, I'm here again thinking about my frames, coming underneath, he comes to the smash. Again, a lot of people they'll play it from here down low. I just feel like for me in my jiu-jitsu, I just feel like there's like a lot of, like I can really hold on to him. There's a lot of control here. So I gable grip, but I'm holding on. Everything's tight. Like I'm bringing this gable grip, my knuckles to my chin, and everything's super tight. In a perfect world, I would love to just sweep them from here, but that's not always the case. So I know a few folks are having trouble with this. When I have this position and I can't get the sweep, again, I was only able to bring my knee out because I have this, okay? If I didn't have this, I would never bring my knee up because he would smash, right? So I have this, and I have like this elbow, not in his neck, in his sternum as a nice frame, okay? So if I'm having trouble here and I'm stuck, I'm gonna use my butterfly hooks, I'm gonna use sitting up, and I'm gonna use this elbow to push him forward to like a neutral position where he's on his knees and I have butterfly, okay? So I'm sitting up, I'm bringing this out, I'm putting him back. And once you get here, you're not kind of stuck in that spot where you're like, oh man, I couldn't get the sweep from there. And then you have options, right? You can go foot in the bicep, maybe you can pull him into a triangle. I can look to, he might like put a foot up, and I can look to kick that foot out, whatever the case may be. Again, guys, I'm always thinking about what presents itself, right? So if he does post his hand on the ground, I'm looking guillotine. Like I'm always, throughout all of these things that I showed you from here, I'm always looking for guillotines. I love guillotines, so anytime the shoulder and the hand get away from the neck, I'm looking for guillotines. So kind of like how I said at the beginning, how I use my peripheral vision to see if that knee comes up at all, to see if I can get underneath for the leg control. Same thing, like I'm always like, a light bulb goes off if the neck presents itself, right? And that creates a situation where we have the four corners and then the neck, in hopes that I can use some grips and movement to create some reactions to get one of these entries or one of these subs. Cool? Awesome. So in terms of like today, just wanted to share, when I feel like my jiu-jitsu is like a big bowl of soup. I didn't make up any of these moves. I just had great teachers and saw some great videos, and I just take like ingredients from all of them, and then I put it in my soup of jiu-jitsu and mix it around, and it's always evolving. The soup's always getting better, I hope, right? So, like one of the best principles, like as I've, I guess, been training longer, it's not always just techniques that help my game, it's like principles, right? So in one seminar I went to, there was some fantastic techniques, but the best thing that helped my game over probably like the last 5 years was just always thinking about knee elbow connection, right? Because if he's any on your back. Most dominant positions require this real estate right here, right? Side control, mount, north-south, chest-to-chest, half guard, right? So just keeping this knee elbow connection and thinking about that at all times was huge for my jiu-jitsu and my guard retention. I'm not saying my guard never gets passed, but it helped my percentages in not getting smashed, right? So the point I'm making is like, you might not get every technique down perfect today, but try to take like an ingredient, whether it's one technique or whether it's a principle, and try to apply it to your jiu-jitsu, right? Because that seminar, like I didn't expect to walk away with a principle that would help my game so much. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come away with a cool technique, right? Maybe I'll get some extra subs, get some extra likes on Instagram, right? But it's not always that, right? It may be like a principle. So try to take, like for each instructor, try to take some ingredients to add into your soup, and don't like get down on yourself if you're not getting like everything down. Me, like when I try to learn, I try to, even if someone's teaching like a series of moves, I try to make sure I get the first one down pretty good before I move on to the next. I'd rather get like a 9 out of 10 in everything that they teach than be like a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3 out of 10. Does that make sense? Cool, guys. Any questions?
That was a lot of techniques. That was really good right there. So I'm going to do the best I can. My name's AJ. What I'm going to show you today, we're going to start from the guard, and we're going to go to a Bravo choke. Now, even though it's an easy move, we're going to go base and work on all the fundamentals of the move, making sure that we're getting our butts in the right position, the D's wrapped around like it needs to, and we're applying the appropriate choke. I'm also going to show a little bit of a defense to it, and therefore you can react to that as well and finish the submission. All right, Rich, you guys can sit down unless you want to stand up. Give him in guard, so I'm sitting here. I need to go ahead and break his postures. Some ways to break his posture, come up with the wrist, bring the knees to your chest.
That was dramatic.
And you lock in, kind of what James was saying with his shoulder crunch. Up in here, I'll hold here, and I'll grab the lat. I'll shoot my butt out, and take the knee out. Now I'm pulling the knee straight up. Not opposite side, but straight up. Now as I come around, I'm passing to the other hand. Now I'm going to scoop my butt out. I'm going to lock my foot into this hip line. So now my knee is pushing down pressure on the shoulder. My foot is in his hip, and it will give me the ability to reach under, place the gi in my hand. Now I'm not replacing, I'm actually putting the gi in my hand. Now I come around, finish the Bravo choke. Traditionally, is I'm gonna come out to the top fold of the jacket, right under the shoulder, and I'm gonna cut in, you get the tap there. Now this is the second part of this variant. I'm gonna release a little bit. All right, now he goes, he wants to block this. Push it down. All right, gets in front, come in, replace the chest line against his tricep, and now go ahead and squeeze. Finish the choke. All right, again. So posture up. I'm underneath. Get him grip in. Keep it chest to chest connection. Come out. Trip the butt out. Pull the knee out. Come out, pass it out. Now trip the butt the other direction. Get your hook in for your butterfly hook. Coming underneath. Place the knee into your hand. At this point in time, you're going to come around and grab the fold of the jacket. And you're going to bring your hand underneath. Almost like you're doing a little bit of a crunch here. Shoulder crunch, boom, good tap. He defends because he doesn't want this grip here. You grab the sleeve grip with the seat up on the end of the collar. I call her lapel. Pull it across. Replace the gap that just was created by pulling that across with your chest. Now you pull underneath, get the tap. One more time. But we're going to do some side control. We're going to hide it a little bit when we do it. Go ahead and go down the side. Alright. So here you get to the nice side control. Me on the other hand, I like to get the shoulder underneath my knee underneath the shoulder, and knee underneath the hip line, so he's kind of off-center like that, now he's not flat on the back. And I come over here controlling, really suck at side control, right? At this point in time, what I end up doing is I'll cross grip over here. So now I put my head here so you can't see what I'm doing. I'll come in and I'll grab here. After I grab here, I'll yank the jacket up. I'll come to my hand and I'll pass over there, okay? Now as I come back around, I'm holding, go under the head. Now so, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my hip into him, almost like a hip switch, where it's kind of coming in here. Go to him, stack facing time position, and hold here. Now the shoulder is gonna be the point of the spear. And that right there is enough retaining to make one attack. So come across, and I grab the little flap, the same piece of hold.
Yeah, it's a piece of foam that goes on with it.
So you grab that, you come in, and you go underneath his chin, there's your tap. Same thing applies. Guess what? He pushes across, and scoop. Cool. But the tip of the spear is the shoulder. So setting it up on side control. Coming across here, passing it over. Sometimes we leave it back underneath, but if you can't, you have to go to reset. Keep it out, hand over. Now I'm going to dive this one in, tip of the spear, my shoulder, point pressure, comes in. His arm's already across, so I'll just go straight into it. If his arm's not across and he's framing like he's supposed to, I'll come in, underneath the chin, pin. Boom. All right, one more time. Back to side control. This move, there's so many different names. Some are sort of just call it spinner choke. It's like they're called ninja chokes. It's just a lapel choke. There's different types of lapel chokes. The way you set this lapel choke up, like I said, you remember to control your positive control points in the shoulder and the hip line.
Sorry.
You come across, you're grabbing here. Now, the same kind of motion. You can go ahead and switch your grip. You're controlling the arms to help you with getting this out a little bit easier, so they can't see what you're doing. But at this point in time, I'm reaching in and I'm pulling my near side to his head, knee out. I'm coming here. Now I'm going to pass it through to my hand here. Yeah. At this point in time, I'm going to go back underneath his head where I need to be. So now I'm at the end of my grip here. All right. Now if I need to go ahead and cinch grip it at this point in time, I can because he's already done. Move. Yeah, to this point, you've already let it go too far. You're going to get choked. This is how you're going to get choked. So here, I block the hip. Now I'm going to go ahead and start back slipping over.
Yeah, I like this one.
So, very tight choke, very quick choke. So you come in here, control, once again. I don't want to block what I'm doing so you can't tell. I'm grabbing his lapel on my own self if I can, pass it through. Go underneath his head, down here. Now if I need to cinch grip it, I'll cinch grip in here. That makes it really tight on him. Key point of this move, stopping the hip from moving. As I turn my shoulder, I'm going to face toward my, point of my shoulder like the last move is going to go straight to the sternum again. Here. Now I'm going to walk backward. Chokes in.
Keep on drop sayonara. I think that was very easy for somebody that is little like us. And we want to go inside the legs. Drop both of your knees down and trip them. I think that was nicer for us little people. Like, I don't like to go and try to go here and drop the guy to get up. Throw the guy, right? It's kind of hard. That one for my back, I like to do Ipan. So you got my gi, so you got Ipan drop. So I walk around, I look my feet I'm in position. I'm going to step inside the leg. I'm going to 1, 2, 3, drop. I did it very slow so you guys can get the position. I want to go under his legs, like the box, on here. Inside and both of my knees. Going to do at the same time that I'm dropping. Drop. So see, he's going to go and go back into the knee belly. Again. 1, 2, 3. Very easy. And for people backs, like my back's not good. Right. One more time. Okay, let's try that, guys. Any questions? See? This one is 2 on 1, right? Okay, now what I want to do is bring his head down here, and I'm going to put my leg this way, and I'm going to side front, go this way, and come back up. Okay? I don't let go of the gi grip because I have good control here. If I let go of the gi tap, I'm going to come back and re-grip here. Okay? I want to have control of the body. My knee is going to be right behind the belt, and my other knee is going to be right here. I can drop here too. Look how easy it's going to be for me to mount the guy, and I get my points. Also, with the compete, you're going to get points, right? And let's try that again. So I'm fighting, I'm going under and grab. See, my grip is like this. Okay? When I throw the hand under, I'm going to do this. Look, drop. It's going to go. I'm going to go with him. Don't be afraid. You're not going to hurt your shoulders, guys. Don't be afraid of that. Okay? All I'm having is a grip to help me spin him. There's different grips on this one, but on the takedown, but I like this one. I feel like I stay with the guy. Instead of doing the other one, I just loosen it up. Right? Go behind, grab it, mount, and then have mount. Okay? Okay. On the grab.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's a wrist line. I couldn't let go.
Wow! If he does that in the tournament.
Not to bonus Jonas.
Okay, yeah. If he does that in the tournament,
They're holding hard.
we win.
I gotta
Okay?
let go.
So that's a good thing. Alright. So this one, yeah, you let go. Alright, so I go right here. Like I'm saying here, right? On the pass. Here. Don't let go. If you let go, you lose your takedown. Okay? Here. Of course, it's, when we are fighting, nothing looks pretty. Okay? So this is like sacrifice. I saw the other guy did this, and the guy, and he didn't do what the grip. Or he did his side fall like this. He's like, what the heck happened? I just messed up the whole thing. Yeah, he just gave him free side control in the tournament. I like it. Keep him tight, get your point. You can do knee on belly, get extra points. Mount. Most of us compete, I compete. So I'm always looking for points. I was the girl that was like, I had to submit you. I'm gonna go for submission, 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 submission. And now, I did that in my tournament. And for these close, we like so tight. And I lose just because I didn't get my points. Okay? I was submitting, trying to submit choke stuff and like that, but I recommend you guys go for position before you go crazy for that submission, okay guys? Like I was telling the guys, from the same takedown, we have a lot of position into the submissions, right? We have knee on belly, get points, mount, get points. Now I'm going to do one time the takedown and then I'm going to show you a submission from the same, okay? So I'm going to do same grip. Some people were leaving this grip alone. You need this grip because this grip is going to help you get this grip here. I'm sorry, I just punched it. And I go here, okay? Now when I do this one here, he goes. I do not let go of the hand. You have to let go of this hand, the top grip. Now I grab on the hand. I don't want him to go away, so I go. My fingers are going to go inside. If you put your fingers inside here, it's illegal. You go outside, okay? Get good grip. Now, I'm going to the knee on belly, right? I grab the hand. I'm going to put it around, step, fall, finish the armbar. And now we call it the near side armbar, okay? Near side armbar. People neglect this one, trying to do many things. Oh, I'm going to kill that hand, I'm going to choke it. But I got this here. Look, I put my knee right on the belly. Go around, keep the same grip. Okay? You can have the grip on the Jitsu if you want to hold it, help you fall so you don't hurt your partner. I step over, I see I let go. Let go back. See this leg, do not be light on that leg. You do not need to take this one down, out. Keep that leg under the armpit, okay? Because it relieves pressure. If I go here, now look, he can catch my leg, he can get out. So you need to keep that knee under, pin behind. See my foot is looking this way? You need to pin the leg behind the back, and it helps you. Okay, here, the same thing, the grip, break it, go back, be gentle. Some people are super flexible, you need to have the hand up. Okay? Because here, no, it's not gonna work. Okay? Bring it up, hug it like it's a gift, like it's your best friend. You don't want to let him go. Pick it up. He's your best friend. All right, here, 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 over, finish. You see he's super tight in here, and I'm super little. The little people are super nicer because as soon as you put this one here, it's mine. Okay? Another way you can do this here, you're gonna cross the feet, put it here, and the arm is mine. Beautiful. See how my foot? You need to block his shoulder to get the armbar. You don't have to throw it over the head. It's already covered. Shoulder pressure, pulling that leg this way, hiding it, keeping it tight. If it goes that way, it's gonna escape. If it goes that way, it's gonna tap. If it goes that way, it's gonna tap. No matter what. Okay, I see those guys, they put the leg here, this one here. He's gonna get out, easy, because now he's my foot, you can move it, right? The other way. This, here, he cannot go. That's another way that I learned how to do the armbar, and I like it. Just getting used to that position. Any question? What we do?
I kind of like try to figure out what in the world to run because everybody's kind of everywhere or whatever, but it's like, I'm just going to run some fun stuff and maybe stuff that we kind of play with this week at the spot. This first thing I'm going to throw is actually something, Marcelo keeps coming up in here, but it's like something that he became known for, and then the instructor I was with for a while used it, and then they all kind of like came down to me. So Andrew Wilson was my coach for about a year, and during that year, and even before that, the instructor he had, or the guy he was teaching before, Clay Mayfield, was actually teaching us the same thing, and we got to learn it from Andrew, and then actually got to meet Marcelo 3 weeks ago I got to meet Marcelo, so it's all cool. So for you guys like that are new to Jiu-Jitsu, like, eventually you get to meet your heroes, you get to see, like, you get to meet all the cool people in Jiu-Jitsu. It's amazing. Got to see Nick Diaz and like Marcelo in the last few months. It's been crazy. But anyway, Marcelo's ready to football you real quick. So listen, guys, I'm not going to use Ray the entire time, but I'm going to use it for this first part. The first thing I want you guys to do is like focus on, like, whenever I'm hand fighting, I'm always like trying to, like, one of the big things, I don't want to like be backing up. I want to be like always going forward. I want to win top hand control. Top hand control, and I'm always going to be trying to push your hands out. Okay, so do this for me real quick. It's just like a little easy. I mean, the simplest, stupidest drill in the world, right? Just give it a partner, and I want you to work on your top hand control. And the partner, just try to fight the top hand control and just stay on the top and just be pushing them back and stay open. Everybody see what I'm doing? I just want to win the top hand pummeling position, and I want to keep pushing forward. Do that just a little bit, and we'll reconvene. Just a second. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One person at a time. One person at a time is going to try to win the inside position. One person. Brian. All right. So Brian is going to be, I'm going to be pushing his hands away. And Brian's going to be constantly trying to win the inside hand position, and I'm just going to be trying to keep these away from each other. Does everybody make sense of that? He's not going to be trying to do the same thing to me right now. I'm going to go once, I'm going to be winning the inside position, he's going to be trying whatever, I'm going to be pushing back just like this. Everybody see it? Yep. Okay? Everybody cool? Switch back and forth. 1, 2, 3. All right. Sorry if you guys being a little bit of a mess, that's okay. It's fun to have fun. So listen, I'm going in here, I'm getting this out. I'm going to always be trying to get inside position. This doesn't feel good to Tony at all, I'm sure. Like, look, he's wide open, and I'm moving him back. So him coming forward at all is really senseless because, like, he doesn't have inside position, all right? I mean, snap and all that. It's more like he's going to be putting back, right? So what's happening is he's going back a little bit. What happens whenever he pummels over and he wins one, right? He's going to want to go forward. Does everybody see what's happening? Okay? I'm now going to look for that little Marcelo arm drag because he wants to go for it. He wants the inside space. Right, so just add to his knee, right? Because he's pushing over, and as I try to win this, and I went over. You know what I'm saying? There's the arm drag on. He wants the inside space, so thank you. I'm now giving that to him, right? So I'm out, he gives me the arm drag. So now I'm going to step up. Arm drag, guys. I want to go thumb up. Everybody's got the different ways. I'm going to go thumb up here, and now I'm going to step up at the same time. Thumb up, step up. Everybody see it? Okay? And as I do, now my right foot is going to shoot this way as I go butt heel over here. I'm going to break it down a few more times. So here, here, step up, and now my butt's going to my heel. And this is sliding. Everybody see what happens? Okay? Various different reactions from this guy, but he's always going to, generally always going to put his hands on the mat. Okay? Stay right there. Okay? So again, without a partner, different partner. You can just stay right there if you want. You just sit there like that. All right, so look, I'm going to step out. Okay, and now this foot's sliding across the ground. And I'm landing on my elbow just like this. Everybody see it? You're going to also land on your hand. Step up. It's going to make you get up. Step up. Slide. Hand or elbow. Just not this. This will get you completely smashed and you lose it all. Don't land on your back. Pushing the leg. Don't go through all this. Just start here, guys. I just want to, we'll put it all together later. Here, here, slide, butt to heel. Everybody see it? Now I'm going to push or switch my hips. If he's on his knee, I'm just going to knee tap. Everybody know what a knee tap is?
Yeah.
Cool, I'm just going to drive the knee tap. If he goes up to his leg, now I'm going to drive and pick up the single leg. Most of the time, this move ends up being a good single leg trick. Okay? Just go. Everybody see what happens? That's the most normal thing that happens off that. Okay? So one more time. I'm pushing, he just pulls back. Whatever you want to do. Everybody got it? Like good? 1, 2, 3. Bring it in, bring it in. All right. So we're going to keep drilling it. I want everybody to kind of get this before we leave today. Like, I don't care if this is like the one thing I teach today and we just get this mapped out. But I want everybody to know we're getting this, okay? So whenever arm drag here, okay, and I step out, the whole reason I'm stepping out is why. Anybody answer? Why am I stepping out? So he doesn't fall. Basically, right? I want him to fall in that hole. Yes. I'm making the hole for him to fall in, right? So here I'm stepping out, and now I'm going to try to put his face right there where my body just was, right? So I'm going to step out, boom. See where his face landed? It's pretty much right where I was just at. Now you see how I'm hooking the leg, guys? I'm on my hand. That's gonna be the most, like, you're gonna have to drill it and get quick at making that switch, right? As you go arm drag. So a lot of you are hanging on, as you guys are getting here, you guys are hanging on. Okay, this is the time. Whenever you start getting to the ground, you need a base down your hand or elbow. I prefer hand because it's faster. Okay, now I can come up, depending on what Tony does, I can go hip or whatever, right? First thing I want you guys to do, I just want you guys to get the arm drag down first and move from there. Here, step, and I'm lowering it. It's a good keynote too, guys, that I'm seeing. You guys are staying really tall. It's good. You guys got it. All right. Whenever I come in here, I want to lower, okay? I don't want to stand up here for arm drags. That's not going to make it happen. See how low Tony is? Wrestler? General. All right? So look, and he's short, so here, I arm drag. I have to get up underneath him. You may see I have to lower my hips in. I can't just go flat like a wall at him. I have to lower my legs. Go back to partners. Hit this a few more times. We'll reconvene after I see some more problems to troubleshoot. Does anybody have any questions on this? So again, if I want to hit this, I'm going to be, I want to hit it here, and I'm going to step out. Does everybody notice where my hips are? Okay, I don't want to bring myself up in here and then do the same thing. Okay, that's not it. I'm out here, here, here. You see how like I even let go and his hand almost still hit the ground. You guys know what I'm saying? Here, 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 here. Does everybody see where I'm landing? Okay, but I have to be far enough away. If he's right up on me, I'm not going to have a chance to move my hips underneath him. It's kind of like that drop stand nagi that she did a minute ago, right? You're kind of putting your hips underneath. Watch where my hips go, right? They're out here, but I'm going to throw them up underneath. That makes sense? I'm kind of adding, I'm pulling him over that tree on the ground. Okay, so it ends up kind of being a little trick too. Everybody good? Try to knock this out like 5 times, like go back and forth, 1 and 1 real quick for me, constructively. Ready? 1, 2, 3. A lot more people are starting to get this, okay? And a few little things. And again, like I don't want everybody to like become like arm drag masters necessarily in one day. I don't expect that, but I do want you guys to have this like tool in your toolbox to like play with and get better at it if you guys want. Not everybody. I don't expect everybody to be like, oh, I want to do this exact thing. That's okay, but at least you know what's coming. You need to watch out for it if nothing else. So again, if I get my hand, a little detail I like to get. This is just me. You can do whatever you want. Wrist control is fine. Wrist control fine. So that's stance all. So on arm drags, right? You can either have like wrist control, general wrist control. You can have reverse wrist control, or I like to have the hand control where I can turn the elbow out. Does everybody see what's happening to the elbow whenever you turn that out? So it just gives me that little bit more bite on the arm drag. Everybody see how we're stuffing and turning the elbow out? So something to play with. If you're like accelerating in this, you're feeling like, hey, I want to just touch this up. Start working that hand and turning that elbow up. Okay, so that's one thing. Step up. So here. One thing I saw a lot of people doing is they're wanting to still shoot the leg underneath here and they're crowding the hips too much. I want to keep the hips away and I'm actually taking the leg across this line. I'm sliding the leg across this line. Here. Everybody see that? Okay, it kind of, again, creates that little trip, all right? So let's talk about what happens after that little trip. If I hit this correctly, lower this, and I'm down. Hand on the floor, hand around the leg. Everybody see this? Depending on what he does, whenever he if he stays here, look, all I do is just grab this here. Does everybody see where my hand went? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just too simple, but it happens. All right? I'll just grab this, and now I just pull my back leg out, and then I've got an easy takedown. Okay? If he goes to both feet, right? I still need to wrestle up. So look, foot, and pull the leg out. And what I like to do if I do a single leg, I like to get up and immediately pull him back and then turn. Instead of just like walking straight up, walk him away. If that doesn't work, push him in and then walk him away. So what I'm talking about is this. Anthony's good wrestler, so I can do this too. So whenever I pick him up, I don't want to just like stay here because then he's going to shove my head, bad things happen, whatever. I don't have it anymore. So as soon as I'm picking this leg up, I'm either going to be pushing or pulling. Okay? If I get this up high enough, whatever, whatever, okay? Decorate the cake however you want. Single leg, I drop up, and I don't stop here. I'm immediately pulling, pushing, pulling, push. Pull, push, whatever you need to do, then make that happen. If you just go on immediately for that, they're gonna probably fall. Arm drag, here. So this is the drill we're gonna do now, guys. We're gonna focus on doing the single leg. Hand on the ground, wrestle up. I can either hit this knee tap here, but normally he's gonna get away from it. So now it's not there. You guys see it? So now I have to wrestle up to the single. All right, what I like to do, it's just super easy. If you start driving early enough and he's based on that foot, pick this up. You guys know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm just gonna pick this up, tap this over, and pick this up at the same time. Good bounce. All right, if not, here, I'm again, pull, shove. And whenever I'm pulling, right, I think we covered this last time, it's just a simple run the pipe. I'm pulling back, and I'm putting my chest in as I do a sumo step. Here, pulling back, and then open up with a sumo step, and then I bow. Right good? Cool. How much time do I have, Coach?
30? How long is he done?
12:30.
It's 12:30 right now.
Yeah.
Cool. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. So, first, before I try to make Tony do weird stuff. All right, guys. First, who has questions on this? Anybody not feel confident with it? If not, that's okay. Look, I want you to continue. That's all right. We'll just continue drilling. You'll get it. How new are you?
2 months in almost.
Fantastic. You're gonna be fine, man. Just stick it out. So a lot of this stuff is like, if you haven't trained too much jiu-jitsu, like doing the hip switch and all that stuff's a little bonkers, so whatever. But anyway, so listen, guys. Just I'm gonna give one more little thing. How much time? Do you might know how much time I have? All right. All right. So listen. One last thing I'm gonna do here, okay, is just give you like I'll just start off in that position on the ground, right? So we're gonna start here. We've landed here, okay? If you guys have landed here, all right? So just everybody's getting right here, and now just imagine like they're gonna start getting up, okay? Everybody just go with what they're doing to get up, all right? Okay, if they do this, you're gonna pick up the leg, okay? And then you're gonna play around with it. If they stay on the knee, if they stay on the knee, right? And you got this around here, and they stay on this knee, stay on that knee. As I pull out, and they see it, they stay on this one, I'm gonna now pick this leg up. And I'm gonna continue walking it up. I'm gonna pick it up. It's fine. If he goes then does that, it's fine. Stay on the knee. Oh, sorry. So a lot of times people will stay on this knee, and you'll be able to pick this up and just pull them over, and then start passing. Silly, but it does work. All right. If they stay on that knee otherwise, when you pick this up, trap this foot a little bit, double hands. Okay? If we're here, and I've got the leg, and he does a wizard, right? See how he got a wizard here? That's fine. I'm now going to still go to the back. I'm going to pull this leg out anyway. Everybody see where I'm just in a regular dogfight position? Everybody know what dogfight position looks like? Okay. Simple thing that some people haven't done before, hand on the ground, foot on the ground. Does everybody see where his point of base is? Or is not? So now I'm going to push him back towards that. Okay? So for the last drills that I want you guys to do, you guys can hit the arm drag, but what I really want you guys to fixate on is like how it finishes. Once you've done the arm drag, you've got the leg or the hip in control, what do you do from there? All right, everybody good? 1, 2, 3.
All right, I'm gonna use Tony because that way I can beat him up a little bit. You're welcome, Tony. So I like to use it's a phrase I've come to really enjoy. That orca don't do the same tricks as dolphins. Okay, you go to SeaWorld or whatever. I'm a big boy. I can do some of the stuff that some of the others do. Some of the stuff is not necessarily my wheelhouse. But as I tell people, that doesn't mean you don't learn it.
Okay? You learn it because it will be used against you, and then also at the same time, it's not part of your wheelhouse today, but it may be later. Okay? We change, our bodies change over time. I'm not the same guy I was when I first started. But in side control, and I'm working with Tony, I just spent a lot of time passing his guard. A lot of time. So why would I ever want to give it back? Okay? Also, right now, leg locks, super in fashion. Okay? Everything ebbs and flows. Okay? It's as we work right now, there's certain things. As soon as somebody hits it in a big match, man, you know everybody's starting to train it, drill it, things of that nature. So I'm the anti-guy. Okay? I'm like looking at it going, I don't want them to do that to me. Okay? So it's one of those simple things. If you don't want them to re-guard, and if you don't want them to play games, stay away from legs. It's literally as simple as that. So I play a lot north-south. Okay? North-south becomes one of my major entry points. It gets me away from the re-guards, and it gets me away from leg entanglements. It's a twofer. I just passed. I just got through all of that stuff. I want to refight it. Okay, so when I'm in position, okay, right here, Tony just asked that. He just gave me something he didn't want to give me. He gave me his throat. So one of the first things I like to do from here is also, I'm a low-hanging fruit guy. Okay, a starving man doesn't climb to the top of the tree. The starving man picks up the fruit that's right in front of him. Okay, it's the first one. It's so simple. It's so stupid. The old paper cutter, I form into the throat, but I do it a little different than most people do when they're, oh, it's a white belt move. I've killed black belts with it. So in my opinion, there is no such thing as a white belt move versus a black belt move. There's your skill level in each movement. Okay? I'm a white belt in a lot of movements, and I'm a black belt in some movements. I know some white belts that are black belts in some movements, and they're white belts in a lot of other movements. But they got that one thing. Don't let them get there. Okay, so a lot of people here tell you don't do my pick. Okay, you already know mine. Okay, don't do mine against me. Okay, do one on me. Don't do mine, I'll kill you.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so just do a paper cutter.
Here and here?
No, not this one.
Other arm.
Okay,
There you go.
Go for it. Go for it. Keep going. No. Okay. How hard did he work? I'm not even resisting. All right, so there's a couple principles that I work on killing immediately. So the first one is there's a law of angles. Okay, I want to face my opponent, but I don't want them to face me. So I joke about things. I'm like, don't look at me. Okay, if I'm doing a move, don't look at me. Okay, so I'm gonna spend a lot of times to make you not look at me, make you look away before I hit an armbar. Okay, in this instance, if Tony is looking this direction, his hips are gonna have a hard time going this direction. Now, what is the number one defense all martial arts in the world teach to defend your neck?
Chin down.
Chin down. So you have to overcome that major piece. So when I'm in and I'm here, my hand, as soon as it leaves, I go in, back of my hand. This is to make him look away. I deliberately go palm up. One, in competition, this is frowned upon. Two, lots of eye pokes. So I don't want to be that guy. So I deliberately go palm up. So from here, very clear. There's no eye pokes, there's no eye gouges, things of that nature. So this makes him look away. Now roll your pinky. This is under the chin every single time. I haven't found anybody yet that can stop it. Now I just anchor to the shoulder. Now from here, don't mash, just lean. Just take your weight, roll it onto your elbow. It's not a muscle thing or anything else. You'll feel it. Like the moment your neck turns to the side, I'm pushing here, not here. I'm pushing in a completely different area. Now again, if I kill him with it, cool. If I don't, that's fine. His reaction is going to be to open himself up. That's what kind of one of the principles that was happening earlier. Your jab isn't going to knock them out. Your jab is going to create the reaction that will create the knockout that's going to come later. So when we look at a technique and go, I wouldn't tap to that. One, I guarantee you, yes you will. Okay? Yes you will. Okay? The way certain movements are done, you can never discount a move just because it's low hanging. Okay? So again, as I'm in place, first thing I'm gonna do, keep your chin down, don't have it. My hand comes out, I put my wrist into his jaw, roll under, slight lean. Okay, it's a different pressure into the neck, and what it's doing right now is a couple things. So one, even if I have no intentions of actually killing him with it, his hips now are starting to become loaded to start to go that way. This is starting to change how he's going to address me for regards and things of that nature. And actually my my left hand now is in position to go where I want to go, even if I don't get the tap. All right? So let's just start off with that first little piece. And I don't even care. He could be framed up here. I don't care. When my hand comes in, push his chin, roll to the shoulder, slight lean. Okay? And again, it's just, you'll feel it. It's just a little bit of pressure. That's all it takes. So if you feel like you're mashing, there's something wrong. Okay? If we're drilling and not fighting, you should never feel like if you're shaking because you're putting in so much pressure, fundamentally there's something wrong. If he's not fighting, so am I. He's not fighting, I'm not fighting. That means the technique should be effortless. All right, let's get shot. 1, 2, 3. The first motion that you put out there rarely is going to be the one that's going to get him, but it's the opening. Okay? Can a jab knock somebody out? Yes. I've seen it. Okay? Some of my fighters have done it. But do you rely on it? No. Okay? You use it to create an opening to get people to move. Now, at the same time, though, it is very effective. Actually, I hit it on quite a few people, even high level. One, because when a rule becomes your limitation, then it's time to break the rule. And I hear it from people all the time. Paper cutters is such a basic move, it doesn't work. So, guess how many throats I get to because they don't defend a move that they say I shouldn't be doing, and then they get tapped out by something that they say shouldn't work. Okay? Because the rule became their limitation, and when that happens, it's time to break the rule. That's my only rule in this game, is that every rule I will break when it's time. Okay? Even in striking, we say, never do this, never do that. Oh, you're going to duck into a punch most of the time. But when the rule becomes my limitation and becomes the means to, like, now you're controlling me by these rules and laws, it's time to break the rule. Okay? So now, this is just my opening. And again, I could go straight to it. I don't have to hit this one first. Now look, Tony already gave me the first time I wanted. If he's framing here, this is the one I'm actually going to be going for. Okay, so I can set him up here to then move in. My goal from here is to get over on top of his arm, and I want to pin his elbow to his side. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to put my hip bone directly on his nose. By the time I hit position, I will make him look that way. It's not a choice. My phrase that I like to go with is, when I'm playing the game, I'm not asking your permission. Okay? That is the submission game. I am putting you into a position to elicit a specific response. I'm not asking for every response. I'm limiting your options. My game is to move my body in such a way that when I put you in check, that you only have a few options that I have to respond to, not every option on the board. Okay? Because otherwise, if you do that, you're not actually in control. Okay? So, if we're here and he's framed up, I can either just dive bomb in, okay, or I can give him something to worry about on my way to pin his arm to his side. I like to frame into the floor. You'll see some people that will grab the hips, but in this specific instance, my goal is to pin Tony in place. If I grab his hip, when he moves, I move. I'm not that strong. If I pin the floor becomes the barrier, so when he moves, he goes into my arm and can't. So again, I'm in, I can go after attack, dive bomb in, pin the hips. Now from here goes my left hip, I straighten out, and again, I will make him look that direction. It's not a choice. Okay? So now from here, he's looking that way. My belly button is probably close to his forehead, and my head is laying up here. So if he thinks he's going to throw his feet back, like my son tries to do to me all the time, okay? He is monkey jujitsu, if it gives you any indication of what his style looks like. So I have to keep his hips planted Otherwise, those feet come up and create connection. So I will headbutt him in the stomach if I have to. So if I'm playing down here, okay, and those hips start to come up, I will put my forehead down into those hips to pin and control. So now from here, I'm on his face. This is a Kimura. This is my choke. Okay? So from here, with this hand, he does not want me to have it. So from here, I'm going to elevate, but you notice my stomach is still connected to his face. So even as I sit up, his face is still pinned. Because he's looking that way, very difficult for him to go that way. So I know which direction he's going to go. So my hand picks up and goes into the middle of his chest. So when I push his arm that way, his face is looking that way. Two opposing pressures, okay, equals he can't resolve it. His arm has to give up everything. So when I'm pressing, he'll feel there's a chest compression that's happening in the middle of his chest. That's not size, that's just position and leverage. When his arm is in, my hand comes up as high as it can. I like to make a fist. Then I don't just push forward. What do you feel right now, Tony? Okay? I'm collapsing and then rolling the hand to the front. Okay? Now, this was just one of the comments earlier. Should this be done slow and controlled, or should this be done violently? Okay? In drilling, it should always be done slow and controlled, but it has the potential, and in that live match, it is done violently. So that pressure wave as it comes down, that avalanche hits, arm pops into the front, control your Kimura. I have not twisted to the side. I've not thrown my hips up in the air to walk over to the side at all. This is purely, it's almost creating like a brachial slicer on the inside of the arm. So one more time. So again, I'm in. I can frame in. This is already starting to get him to look here. Control the hip. Control the hip. Slow around the head. Pick up that arm. Compress. Now look, his arm is stuck. It doesn't get to go until I say so. When I move my head is when he gets to move his arm. So he's literally dying right now the whole time. Now here's the one part though, happens to me all the time. Why are you tapping? Happens to me all the time. I'll be in place, I'm compressing down. I like just let your head go over my head. Let your hand, all the pressure goes away. If you have a way out, they're like, well, it was hurting. Well, if I go here, I'm gonna get caught in this. Yeah, but when you tap, you say, I just lost. So I'm out of the frying pan into the fire. Well, I die in the frying pan, so fight in the fire. Go ahead, advance, move to that next position. If you think you're already done where you are, go ahead and fight in that next position. Because at least you're not done yet. Let it move, let it advance. You know, if there is a way of moving to alleviate the pressure, take it. You know, because if you say my option is to tap or move, choose to move. Okay? So now from here, once I've gotten in that position, I've got his arm locked up. Okay? For a lot of people, we twist him up onto the side, we step over, we go for the Kimura. Okay? So again, when the rule becomes the limitation, it's time to change and go against the rule. So this is my favorite Kimura that I like to go into when we hit that position. But the first part I want to do, let's just get there first. So I'm in, I frame, dive bomb, over, I move, pick up the arm. From here, compress, 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 to lock. So for a lot of people from here, we use this to pry over, to step, and to go into our Kimura. So let's just from here, let's just get that arm first, lock it up into your Kimura grip, and then let's then go from there. Because now you're hitting forks in the road. You can pretty much go wherever you like. All right, but let's hit that first portion. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so don't. Okay. It's weird that Kimura, for me, I love Kimura because realistically, Kimura is a position, it's a control, it's a leverage. The way people will use a butterfly, people can use a Kimura to get a lot of the same things. You can sweep with Kimuras, you can take backswing. Kimura's can do a lot of stuff. It's a very versatile position. Triangle's another very versatile position, but Kimura opens up movement. Okay? So when you use it for all of its intended purposes and stop pigeonholing it into just a submission, the game is going to open up dramatically. One grip can suddenly lead you to everywhere. The one thing, though, that's weird about Kimura is the two dominant positions. It sucks. If I mount you, Kimura is a horrible position to hunt for. If I'm mounted on top of you, what's weird is my ability to do Kimura from bottom mount is better than your ability to do it from top. I wouldn't do it from bottom mount, but I'm just saying you could. If you take my back, I can do a Kimura to you. You're going to struggle to ever do a Kimura to me. So in the two major positions, Kimura becomes this really powerful piece, except for in the two, what's considered to be the classical, not air quote, the classical dominant positions of Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, mount is a dominant position mainly because of the weapons we've removed, the strikes. Okay, but you still got to respect it. The back take, we still look at in most matches, rear naked chokes, things of that nature. These are still some of the most dominant finishes in the game, so back take's always a major. I tell you. Kimura for me is the gatekeeper that opens up just about everything that I want. And the Kimura is right there as well. But again, when the rule becomes the limitation, it's time to break the rule. So most of your Kimuras are from these more classical positions. I'm going to straddle over the top of him, pick his arm up, hike him behind his back, things of that nature. So when I go in position and I set him up, I pin, and I'm walking. I pick up his arm, and I pin, and I control. So from here, I will use this to open up his back. I will then drive my shoulder into the back of his shoulder, and then I will put my right knee behind his back so he can't come back towards me. So most of the people that I go up against, and it's a very high percentage, are all now worried about typically two things: technical mount or an armbar. Okay? So when I get them in this position and I'm here, they almost always try to turn their body back to the ground and get this elbow down to a position of safety to prevent themselves from getting into an armbar. Because this is not a typical entry for Kimura. Okay? Because from here, a lot of times people will come in, they'll slip into their gift wraps now, they'll come into position, they'll step over, boom, there's your armbar setup, some light. So from here, when I'm in play, okay, he'll start to turn to put his back on the ground. So I keep his wrist and I flare his elbow up. So every time I get him to his side and I'm here and he turns, I flare that elbow, push him back over, flare that over, push him back over, okay? So just like the Seonagi, just like some of the other stuff, okay? We're flaring the hands, we're push. When he goes to resist, take his energy and turn it into your technique, okay? So same thing from here. I could force it, okay? All day long I can force it, but why? When he wants to flare his back to the ground to face me, to free his arm to freedom, as I'm here, when he turns in, my elbow goes into his armpit. Okay, I prefer, if I can, I like to get like up a little bit into my tricep. Okay, now from here, it's not about cranking the hand into the negative space behind. Okay, to be honest with you, the Kimura never was. Okay. If we look at Kimuras, I have a whole series I call high elbow theory. High elbow theory gets rid of the typical rotation. The more I play with the elbow, the less negative space I need behind the back. So remember how I rolled him back over by lifting up his elbow. So when he throws and I step out to the side, see how his hand is almost at his own waist. So now from here, my left hand presses into my forearm and I lift his elbow. Now from here, I can add insult to injury and now add the rotation. But truly speaking, once I've got it in play, this version of the rotation, because we're playing a higher elbow, we're playing a heavier elbow pressure. It limits how much rotation is actually necessary out of the arm. Okay? So one time. So I'm in, go for the first piece, open him up. There goes his arm. I push, and I put my knee up against his back. So from here, this is typical, what Tony just did. Super typical. As soon as I go in position, he's not thinking defend the Kimura, he's thinking get his back to the ground, he's thinking reposition. And this is when he'll throw his own arm out into the submission. So as I'm here, now again, I can do it first off. I mean, if your skill level gets to that point, you do it as soon as he turns. If not, lift his elbow and force him back. He turns, lift his elbow and force him back. He turns, lift his elbow, and now we set our submission off to the side. And it's not even about your grips. Okay? From here, this one just needs to be over the wrist. He can't leave. So realistically speaking, the grip here, whether you want monkey, C-clamp, I like whatever puts me over the top, because that's all that's necessary. It's a pressure that's needed, and once I get to a certain position, the pressure is all that's needed. It's not about the grip that you choose to use, because once I'm in, you can't leave anyway. Okay, so the other piece I like about that particular one, I don't know who runs Kimura traps. Okay, I love Kimura traps, but I'm slow as F. Okay, so my ability to get up faster than other people doesn't exist. Okay, but I'm just going to show it for demo purposes. The position I'm hitting with Tony, okay, as I'm here, okay, and I start to run my Kimura trap, that's the same Kimura, just from a different entry. But again, it's one of these things where once I go into that position, I don't have to be faster than him. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I just have to be in the position. I know where he's going, so I can slash his tires in the parking lot, slow him down, go to where he's going to go first, and let him come to me. I mean, that's true speed in jiu-jitsu. You know, it's not a drag race. Okay, it's about if you got a Ferrari, take him to the mud. Make him have to go slow. So with your partner, so once I have him in that north-south entry from here, again, I use that. I deliberately put my knee into the back, and this leg is ready to step out. Elbow goes up into the crook of his armpit, not in the middle of his chest. And then from here, don't push him down. Look, there's nothing here. From here, lift his elbow. Okay, then from here, if you want, then you can add rotation. But if you put the tension into the high elbow, the rotation becomes unnecessary. And again, you can chase that through most Kimuras. You can actually take most of the rotational requirement out of almost all of the Kimura sequences. All right, so let's hit that now. Let's add, we call that a stealth Kimura. Yep.
Can I see